It's the next segment. This is the next video.
Is that what all that clapping was for?
Yeah, that's what it was for.
Okay. I thought you were a stomp group or something.
So no, we have our producer. He claps that way. He knows where to cut the videos. You guys don't get to hear any of that. He'll have it all parceled out.
I decided to leave it in. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made sense.
What you will get to hear is Cade Webb. Cade Webb is with us from CowboysRideForFree.com. You can find him at CWebb_CRFF. And he's joining us to tell us what we can expect out of Oklahoma State. Now, Cade, can I ask you a question?
You can ask me whatever you want.
Why is it some people call you guys Okie Light?
Oh, well, to start, that's one of the more disrespectful things. That if you were to ask an Oklahoma State fan what they hate being called, it's Okie Light. So you guys are off to a great start. But no, I'm just messing with you. That's Okie Light is kind of like the little brother thing. I guess kind of like Marshall is to you guys, and kind of something like that. It's a play on "We'll never be Oklahoma," I guess.
Well, people.
No. I think it's really interesting. You said, we're not gonna come real strong right out the gate.
I asked him a question. I was just asking a question. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Now I will say, we understand what it's like. Little jokes back and forth. People call us Western Virginia and make all kinds of other jokes that I'm sure you can imagine. So we're used to it, man, and we're used to Oklahoma State. Dana said in his press conference on Tuesday that that West Virginia knows Oklahoma State probably as well as any opponent on our schedule, and that Oklahoma State probably knows West Virginia as well as any opponent on their schedule. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting statement as well. I mean, similarly, the teams are they want to do the same thing. It seems like they want to kind of throw the ball to set up the run. It seems like, and they want to be physical up front, but they don't necessarily have all the athletes to do it. I would say that idea-wise, they're probably the most similar teams in the conference, just based on purely what they want to do on the football field. I think that Dana and Mike Gundy, they obviously go back to their days at Oklahoma State together, and some of those principles have carried for both guys, and some of them have dropped some of those principles. So, I do think that these teams know each other really well, and we've seen some really good contests from the two teams over the years in the Big 12, and it's been good to have you guys. I've really enjoyed this kind of – it almost has a rivalry feel to it, even though it's only 4 or 5 years old. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hate Pitt so much, and I hate Virginia Tech, and I hate Maryland so much that it doesn't feel like a rivalry to me. But I get what you're saying because the games have been so good, and there has been real competition between the two teams, and because of history, And then the other thing is the hair. You got the mullet versus the skullet, right?
That's right.
And he reminds me of Dana. Well, I mean, just really nobody can mess with Gundy. The closest one coming is Dana, right? So those connections really make it something that, what they say, familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, Jeremy, did you have a question for him?
No. I was saying I like it. I mean, we have these dudes on, and what he said that we're very similar to Oklahoma State. Man, that's dead on. That's right on point. I love it.
One of the things I like about Oklahoma State this year is you guys have two dynamic safeties. Dana in his press conference said that they were probably the two best safeties the best safety tandem that we faced all season. That includes a Virginia Tech team that's got an excellent defense, and we have an excellent defense as well. In large part because of Kaiser White and Drayvon Henry. What can you tell us about the safeties we'll be facing this week?
Well, I've kind of looked at this because David Sills is keeping me up at night, giving me nightmares. But, Oklahoma State on the outside, they've got two really young, virtually inexperienced corners who up to this point have played phenomenal football. So they are inexperienced, yes, but they bring a lot to the table. But then you move back a layer, and you've got Trey Flowers and Ramon Richards, who I do think are the best safety tandem in the Big 12. Ramon Richards was a corner. You disagree?
No. He's just being a homer.
I have something in my throat. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Well, listen here. through 7 games, they've given up 4 touchdowns through the air. I'd say that's pretty salty. That's tied for 4th in the country. So I'd say that's pretty salty, and there's definitely a conversation there. But you look at him, Ramon Richards has played corner for 3 seasons. Now he's moved to safety, and he's just blossomed back there. They definitely have been able to help in run support, but through the air is really where they've shined. And it's something to keep an eye on. It's an exciting matchup with Will Grier and David Sills versus those two.
Let me give you a great stat from Jed Drenning. Last 2 weeks in Big 12 play, Will Grier, 74%, 364 yards, 10 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. QBs versus Oklahoma State the last 2 weeks. 50%, 205 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. This is going to be an epic battle.
No fly zone.
I mean, something's got to give, right?
Something's got to give.
It's the irresistible force versus the immovable object. So I'm excited about it because how could you not be?
I got to say, I never thought I'd hear Oklahoma State secondary referred to as an immovable force. That's awesome.
But they're putting up the numbers to support it, man. They really are. I mean, you just gave us some statistics. You said that, Sills is keeping you up at night. By the way, we call him Solitnikov. That's what we're calling him over here.
So great.
And we're hoping it translates.
That is good.
I got to shout to Raymond Bogus over there for that one. He's the one who gave us that. Solitnikov trying to get that trending. We already have Will Grier for Heisman. That was trending for a little bit over our way. We call him, by the way, Mountain Grier.
I like it. I like all of it.
I do have a question, though. You were talking about your corners. I haven't checked them out. How tall are your corners?
They are both 6 foot, dead on the money. They're both 6 foot. I want to say A.J. Green's about 190 and Rodarius Williams probably 185, right around there. They're the prototypical Big 12 corner, though. They're what you want to have. They are 2 really rangy guys. And A.J. Green is a true sophomore, but, man, he's special. He's made some boneheaded plays this season so far, but looking forward, like the next 3 years, he's going to be a star in this league, no doubt. No,
that's great. And 6 foot. I mean, that's 6 foot is really cute. Like I'm sure.
I knew why you asked that question.
Look, seriously, we're usually not this. Look, I don't know. I guess I'm just amped up after.
We're just having fun.
You guys are about to bring the animal out of me, man.
I know.
Bring it out.
Bring it out. We want to hear it.
No, it's all in fun. It's all in fun.
Well, I want to know about the thing that you hear most is by a lot of metrics, Oklahoma State has the best offense in the nation. Okay, by some metrics, I shouldn't say a lot, but by some metrics, you could argue that Oklahoma State has the best offense in the nation, right? Oklahoma, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, all are way up there in those ratings. Led by Mason Rudolph and James Washington. What can you tell us about the offense of the Pokes?
Man, lately it's been feast or famine for them. They put up 59 against Baylor, and then they go and put 13 up against Texas. They are a big play offense. They want to set up the run with the pass, which is kind of flip-flop to how you usually see it on the football field. But they've got a dynamic tailback in Justice Hill, who's a freshman All-American last year. They've got James Washington, obviously, but you look at the wide receiver core as a whole. I mean, you've got 6'4" Marcel Aitman, who is no slouch himself. He's basically a Mike Evans carbon copy. And then you've got Jalen McCleskey in the slot, and you've got Dylan Stoner and Tyron Johnson, both really highly touted guys out of high school that have made plays for this team already this season. So it's not just covering James Washington. It's also not just covering Marcel Aitman. It's trying to limit the big play as a whole, and that's what we've seen teams struggle with. But I'll tell you this, the 2 teams that have done well against Oklahoma State's dynamic offense is TCU and Texas, who kind of run a 2-safety high, basically what West Virginia does. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that West Virginia is going to slow them down completely like those 2 teams did, but they're definitely in a formation to do something that we've already seen. Now, if they allow the big play, it opens up everything for this offense, and the floodgates are open at that point. But I think that we'll see with Oklahoma State's offense, I think West Virginia fans might be pleasantly surprised about what they see based off of what the defense is putting on the field against Oklahoma State. But at the same time, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see them drop 50. it sometimes seems really easy for them to do that.
Yeah, especially when Mason Rudolph is right. But last week there was a lot of saying that there's a lot of people saying he wasn't right. Any chance he won't be 100% come Saturday?
Well, that's kind of speculation. It seems like he did come out and say that he was dealing with a quote very minor injury. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he had an injury to his throwing arm, which would really make sense because Oklahoma State ran the ball 51 times against Texas, which if you look at Texas, their strength is no. If you look at Texas, their strength is on the defensive front.
Yeah, exactly.
And they needed to be picking on them on the back end. And when they did do that, they found success. Now, it would make sense to me if Mason Rudolph was hurt, had some sort of injury to maybe his throwing arm, something on his throwing side to where he was tender trying to throw it. But when he threw it, he looked good. I haven't heard anything out of practice that we should be concerned about. So that's good for Oklahoma State fans.
We heard Holgerson said today that you guys have 6 receivers to worry about, which you just alluded to. And our defense has not put together a complete game yet this season. So we're not really sure what to expect. We're hoping for the best. The thing that we know has to happen is intensity for all 4 quarters and focus for all 4 quarters. Because as you keep talking about, Oklahoma State's really good at the big play, and once they get the big play, it changes the dynamic of the entire game. So, and the other thing that people are saying, now not the coaching staff isn't saying this, but that if you listen to pundits, if you listen to bloggers, is that the strength of Oklahoma State is not their offensive line. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, over the last few years, it's been really bad. This year, it's definitely been improved, but they're a little bit dinged up, man. Honestly, they've lost their starting right guard for the year. Their starting center has been out for the last 4 weeks. Mike Gundy said he was going to play on Saturday, give him something, so we'll see. And then they went and lost their starting left tackle on Saturday, but it sounds like he'll be back too. So on Saturday, you could really see where the offensive line was struggling, but they were working with a makeshift crew there. Mike Gundy actually joked about it on Monday in his press conference. He turned to a reporter and said he was about to ask him to come on and play offensive line. So that's how thin they were. So, we'll see. I think the offensive line kind of gets a bad rap. I think they've played a lot better this season than they have in the past, and the running game is working. So I think if they're healthy this coming week and they get some guys back that they're expecting to, I think you'll definitely see an improved offensive line.
Gundy also said that they don't ask him to dance anymore in the locker room, which is bad. Right? He said he wants to get on SportsCenter, so that's bad for all of us when Gundy's not dancing. Except for this coming Saturday. I hope he doesn't dance, not one bit.
No dancing. Unless he feels it during Cotton Eye Joe, I don't want to see no dancing.
No dancing. Now, can we get a prediction out of you?
Yeah, you know what? I tweeted this yesterday that I could see this being a blowout going either way. It's just 2 really kind of interesting teams with Oklahoma State and West Virginia. I think Will Grier is really talented. I think that David Sills is obviously one of the best receivers in the country. But I think part of that will play into this game because you look at Oklahoma State's defense, like we've already talked about. Their strength is in the secondary, and they've also done really well in the front 7. So I could see this being a low-scoring game. And the other thing is, not to start rambling here, but Oklahoma State, they've struggled in the intermediate passing game. And West Virginia, if they're able to kind of follow the blueprint that TCU and Texas put out there and kind of take away the deep passing game, you could really see Oklahoma State struggle. Now, that being said, I think that we saw kind of a ticked off Mike Gundy on Saturday talking about that very issue, how they need to get in practice and fix that. And if they do fix that, I could see Oklahoma State putting up a lot of points, kind of trying to pick apart West Virginia's secondary. I could see this game, my prediction, it'll go a lot like last year's game. You remember that with Skylar Howard. Obviously, you guys have a much better quarterback. But it seems like West Virginia, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like they've got a propensity to turn the football over, what it seems like.
No, we don't. No, we haven't lost a fumble all year, I don't believe. And Grier's only thrown 6 interceptions, I think, in 7 games.
That's good. That's good. I may be watching the wrong game then, but
yeah,
that's all right.
no, we're not turning the ball over.
No, we lost
some inopportune turnovers, like against TCU. The timing was bad.
Either way, I think that this game is probably more low scoring than people think. But the line right now is at 7.5 in favor of Oklahoma State. I think that feels about right to me. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I'll say Oklahoma State 34, West Virginia 24.
What's the over-under? Do you know that?
The over-under is like 73.5.
Oh, wow. See,
so points will be scored is what Vegas thinks.
My pick is WVU 24-16 out of respect for the defenses. I think our defense is better every single week. I think Mason Rudolph isn't right. And I think your defense is legit. But I just think Mountain Greer is just – because he's able to move with his move the ball with his legs and with his arm, I think that gives us an advantage. I also think that our running back – I think our running game is going to be better this week. So I'm picking 24-16, low scoring for me as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
I do have a question. So you gave us your feelings on what you think the game is going to be. I'm going to put you in charge of the pulse of Oklahoma State Nation. How does Oklahoma State feel? They look at their schedule. They look how far they've come, who they've beaten, who they lost to. How do they feel about playing West Virginia on Saturday? Not how you individually, but how does the whole program feel about this game Saturday with West Virginia?
You know, I think last week there was a lot of apprehension about playing Texas. I think everybody was a little bit worried about the injuries on the offensive line and if we would be able to run the football. And I think that Texas, Mike Gundy talked about it all week, that Texas is the most athletic team that Oklahoma State will play on the defensive side. And I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, me too.
I think that Oklahoma State fans are much more receptive to playing West Virginia. I think they're more open to getting into a shootout than getting into a defensive struggle, just because historically Oklahoma State is not a defensive team like we've seen in the last few weeks. That being said, if this turns into a defensive struggle, I think you'd see a lot of Oklahoma State fans kind of be receptive to that, because that means Will Grier and David Sills are kept in check. So I don't think there's really as much nervousness as there was to play Texas. Part of that might also be the history between Oklahoma State and Texas too. There's been a lot of close games over the years. But I think you could also say that for West Virginia, because Oklahoma State, save the 2013 game, has kind of had West Virginia's number, it seems like, since they've gotten to the conference.
No, I hear it. Well, another question I had for you, and I just want to know your personal feelings. Like, we hear this, on a lot of different media outlets. I mean, they're really saying it a whole lot. And I want to know your feelings on it when they call Mason Rudolph the poor man's Will Grier. How do you feel when you hear that?
I don't think anybody says that, man. I don't think anybody says that.
Oh, you don't think so, Cade?
No, I don't think anybody's said that ever except for you right now on this podcast.
Well, we'll agree to disagree.
All right, man. All right.
That's
you show me Todd McShay calling Mason Rudolph a poor man's Will Grier. I'll put it on Twitter.
I will say this. Nobody besides Jay and Fiend has ever called him the poor man's Will Grier.
Well, he can't really scramble, so that's a bad. Obviously that's bad. But
I will say that Pro Football Focus has Will Grier ahead of Baker and Mason Rudolph as far as a professional quarterback is concerned. So,
what would you expect with all the PEDs that guy takes?
With the what?
Oh, the PEDs.
It was over the counter. Over the counter.
He finally struck back. He's like, he had enough. He had enough. Y'all gonna stop.
He had enough. It was over the counter. That was good, though. That was good.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say, man.
He's got more. All right, man. Well, hey, this has been fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Hey, I enjoyed it, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get you back on during basketball season.
Oh, it was. It's all in fun, man. I'm glad you came on, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. I enjoyed it. And, basketball season would be fun. It won't be fun to talk West Virginia Oak State, though. West Virginia, dark horse, Final Four pick already.
All right.
Love it.
We love the love, man. Appreciate you.
All right, guys.
All right, later. All right. Well, it's time to get hyped talking about Oklahoma State. The question is why we hate Oklahoma State. Jay and Fiend, what you got for Brandon Phoenix over here, a.k.a. Mr. I Also Hate Pitt?
Hey, you know how big it is. It's Oklahoma week. The Sooners coming in town.
No. It's Oklahoma State.
Oh, that's right. There is another Oklahoma team.
Yeah.
The little brother. Actually, you know what? I was listening to a song earlier today. I'm gonna play it for you because I feel like it was made just for Oklahoma State.
Let me hear it.
Right here. Being me. What?
Is that Ashley Simpson?
You know it is, but it works for Oklahoma State. Living in the shadow of someone else's dream.
You crazy?
That's Oklahoma State, man. The little brother. Look, I'm so tired of playing little brothers, but since they're here, we'll play them on Saturday. That's one of the reasons why I hate them. Look, we want the real deal. We want the real Oklahoma. We don't want Okie Light, Okie Minor, Okie Junior. Nah, G, we want the real deal. But we'll play them since they're coming Saturday.
Yeah, my thing with Oklahoma State, the thing that I don't get, and we'll get it put up right here. You can see it, the picture right here. They decided to put up a national championship from 72 years ago. 72 years ago, and they just awarded it to you? That doesn't count. But you put it in your stadium. The same way you changed your record on your rings from last year. Yes, the loss you incurred doesn't matter if the refs jobbed you. You lost. Oklahoma State, stop fronting. Stop faking. Stop perpetrating. None of those things count. I don't care how much money T-Boone spends.
Hold up. The flag. I mean, the thing that they held of the national championship. What is the national championship?
No, not a flag, as you can see in this picture. They actually put it on their wall in their stadium.
What's it say? Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State, 1945 national champions.
Because it wasn't until 1957 they changed to Oklahoma State.
Exactly.
The Pokes, the Cowboys. You know what they were known before that?
Oklahoma.
The Aggies.
Yep.
The Aggies. Yep. The Aggies. And then you changed to Oklahoma. Look,
but they count the national championship
as Cowboys. Stop it, okay?
Stop it. But what can you expect from somebody who's just faking and perpetrating the real deal? It's like Coke versus Pepsi. Oklahoma's Coke. These dudes is Pepsi.
Little brothers, man. Living in the shadow. Look, y'all Ashley Simpsons. The Oklahoma State Ashley Simpson.
Other thing we hate is Mike Gundy can't dance. Stop pretending like he can, okay? All that gyrating. He ain't doing nothing. Dana's too cool for all that nonsense. That's why he stays in the stunner shades. Bow tied up sometimes, but usually just open shirt. Fresh always. Mike Gundy, where's the mullet? We have the skullet.
Hey, let's be for real. I can't stand Oklahoma State for one big reason. Doug Gottlieb. No, I'm serious. I couldn't stand him for so long. He hates West Virginia. He hates Bobby Huggins. He's always popping off the mouth. Who you talking to, son? Matter of fact, my favorite, he played for Oklahoma State, but my favorite thing is in 2015 when he picked, I think, what was it, like Buffalo to upset us? They asked Bobby Huggins how he felt about it, and he said, I'm going to read it. He said, I don't care much for a guy who couldn't shoot 50% from the free throw line. What is he, Shaq? You Shaq, your hands as big as a basketball? You're a guard. I can't stand Oklahoma State because of Doug Gottlieb.
Do you know what's great about
your mouth and know your role? You're talking to a Hall of Famer, and so put some respect on his name, okay?
Bobby Huggins 316. By the way, do you know how Doug Gottlieb got to Oklahoma State?
Oh, I do.
How?
He will judge everybody else, but once you got kicked up out of Notre Dame, out of the Fighting Irish.
Yes, at the time, what would be considered an elite school, you had to go to little brother, little junior. Because you couldn't hack it. Or maybe you could. Credit card thief.
Credit card thief. I'm about to say, that's good. Well played. Well played. I don't know if he was going to go up to the drug aspect or the stealing aspect. But either way, our point is he's from Oklahoma State. And that's why we can't stand Oklahoma State.
We
got
hate
big
them.
mouths.
We hate Oklahoma State. What else?
My problem, too, is like, I look at, what was his name? Boone Pickens?
T-Boone Pickens.
I look at him, and I look at, and I'm sorry to compare everything to Nike, but what Knight did up at Nike, like you see what he's done. You look at the jerseys, you look at, like you see what he's done. Well, Oklahoma State, you got Boone Pickens contributing all this money, and where's it at? What's going on? The nation doesn't recognize Oklahoma State as this elite program. What are you guys doing with the money? Like, look. I'm serious. If we're gonna have a booster, if we're gonna have somebody who's giving that kind of money, I want to see big time play. Look, I'm all about our conference, especially when people don't respect our conference. What are you doing, Oklahoma State? Now I know you went 10-3 a few years, big ups and props, but when you have somebody like Pickens behind you, I want to see something that people look at Oklahoma State and say, man, they're very unique.
They have a $500 million complex built with T. Boone's money, but they're not pulling in top 10 recruiting classes. They're not winning.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not making it to the playoffs. They got the money like the big dogs, but they ain't playing like one. That's why we hate Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Real talk. I can't wait for Saturday. I cannot wait for Saturday. We owe them a whipping. We turned the ball over on our own side of the field 3 times, I believe, last year. What was it, Jeremy? What was the statistic?
I'm not sure how many times.
I think it was 3 times inside the 20-yard line on our side of the field. Twice inside. One was William Crest, open-handed fumble. Still love Crest, Virginia, but that was not good. Skylar had one also, and then Chugginoff threw a bomb from inside the 10, basically a punt, but it was like on first or second down. That's why we lost to Oklahoma State. Bad quarterback play last year. We owe them. It's time for a whipping. Get them dogs out. Get the dogs out. Mountain Greer, Solitnikov, we coming. All y'all, we coming. What were you going to say about Big Country?
Just, you owe the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies selected you high. You're going to sit here, your last year at Oklahoma State, you beat Tim Duncan. You had 15 points against his 12 points in the NCAA. Then you went on to Marcus Camby. You had 24 points. He had 6 points in the NCAA tournament. You played Antonio McDyess for Alabama. You had 25 points. He had 22. You get drafted high. They had all this hope. And what you do? Nothing. You set the Grizzlies back years. And then after the strike, there was a strike, and they call you Big Country, but dude, coming out after the strike, you gained 40 pounds in trying to play basketball. Look, you all should be embarrassed, and for the Grizzlies, I'm going to hate you. Another thing is, when Gundy, and I know this is easy to point to, I'm a man, I'm 40.
Yeah, he's 50 now.
Was that after a loss? Quit fronting.
Not only was that I don't know if it was after a loss or not. What I do know is the kid that he was defending came out and said that was all grandstanding, that Gundy didn't really have his back, that Gundy really did that for himself. It wasn't for him at all.
No. You can listen to it. That's what I'm saying. You listen to it. It has nothing to do with about the kid. That's all about him. I don't know if he was having to find a home. I don't know if they lost. I don't know what it's about, but it wasn't about the child. So stop it. Like, that's one of the biggest. You got that, and we got Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were.
Yes.
And you got Iverson. We talk about practice.
Yes.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
You play to win the game.
We got all of them. And then we got I'm a man, I'm 40, but it was all fake. So now, this week it's time to get rid of the fake and beat Oklahoma State.
Raspy Voice!
All right, it's time for shout-outs. Raspy Voice kids want to recognize those who love us, who support us, who are doing everything to help us succeed. We are grateful. That's the truth. We really are. So, let's give a shout-out to Jonathan Nottingham, at WV Nottingham on Twitter. He listened to his first RVK show and he tweeted about it. Thank you. Damon at Normal Eli FR. He ordered a shirt and he wanted us to shout out AEP in Charleston, who helped in Texas after Harvey. So they were able, AEP went from Charleston all the way to Texas and Houston to help out with the disaster relief efforts after Hurricane Harvey. Damon wanted us to shout that out, so we give him a shout out. And of course, we want to give a shout out to Gresso's and Jack Doyle's. We're going to Gresso's on November the 11th, Kansas State game. We are going to fight and beat that little Purple Rain Wildcats, okay? The Mountaineers will be there playing on the big screens. The Raspy Voice kids will be there presenting an entire show. We're going to do a live show. We're going to be doing T-shirt giveaways. There's going to be drink specials. It's going to be awesome. Columbus on High Street in the German Village. We hope you guys are there. And then on November the 25th, the party.
Wait. You said Purple Rain. I can't. Purple Rain.
Yeah, they'll be singing it a lot more solemnly when West Virginia's done with them in Manhattan. Okay. November 25th, the Raspy Voice kids will be in New York City. That's right, Jack Doyle's bar and restaurant. We will be there. Raspy Voice Kid 1. I also hate Pitt. Raspy Voice Kid 1 also, because we all equal. Jay and Fiend. And our producer, Jordan. We will all be there. Live show again. We'll be recording it, broadcasting it live. Shirt giveaways. All kinds of ruckus and noise.
Big ups.
If you pay attention, Jack Doyle's was featured on ESPN during game day. And they were featured on another occasion because they do all kinds of awesome stuff as far as sports are concerned. You don't want to miss it. Mountaineers in the building, all over it.
Yep.
East Coast, West Coast, worldwide. We see that flag everywhere. Fly that WV. And Jay and Fiend, you had one you wanted to shout out too.
Oh, yes. I thought you were going to forgive me. I thought I was going to have to cut you off. I want to give a big shout out to @Cooper_Kelsey Cooper. This Saturday, I went to a local place to watch the game. I somehow didn't find Kels and her homegirl. Look, shout out to all them. And I saw her in there, and we were able to watch the game together. Man, so much fun. They were mad cool. They showed me love. So big shout outs, Kelsey Cooper, _Kelsey. Mad love, girl.
All right, and that's it for us. The Raspy Voice Kids are done. I want to let you guys know one last thing, though, before we're over. Next Tuesday,
The 31st of October.
we'll be recording. The recording will be live, meaning you will be able to watch us live. You'll be able to see how we do it behind the scenes. We're just going to do it live. Then it'll be recorded. It'll be edited just like normal. But you'll get to watch us do the show live. You'll get to see in between takes. You'll get to see us banter back and forth, figuring out what we're going to do next, how we're going to do it, setting up guests. So tune in. We're going to do that YouTube Live? YouTube Live. Raspy Voice Kids? Just go to our Raspy Voice Kids pay or Raspy Voice Kids channel on YouTube. Hopefully you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to us. 6 o'clock is when we will record. We will be live. We hope to see y'all there. We hope to hear y'all. We hope y'all hear us. Number love. Holla at us.